We're shining bright, and we're shining the light on us like no other. Neighborhood Planet. Our neighborhood, our world.
Suave afternoon, suave afternoon, suave afternoon. This is Brother Suave, your mind-blowing, thought-provoking, and eye-opening on-air personality, life coach, psychotherapist, author, and creator. Hope you guys having a suavelous day.
Yeah, and with that, let's commence to pay.
Okay, I'm so suavelous, you so suavelous.
Together we can fix the trauma that's befallen us.
Divine social interactions remains marvelous.
Mind-blowing, suavelicious talk, higher consciousness. But think, let not your hearts be troubled, Dr. Brother Suave.
Divine light give you double.
Greetings, this is Dr. Brother Suave, your mind-blowing, thought-provoking, and eye-opening on-air personality, life coach, psychotherapist, author, and your divine social therapist and host of Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave. So happy to be back on this November 30th, 2022. Listen, hope you guys enjoyed your Thanksgiving. We took a little break and man, I ate up something. I also slept the whole day. But I'm hoping that you guys really enjoyed your holidays and giving thanks for allowing you to see another Thanksgiving, sharing it with friends, family, and loved ones. I had opportunity to spend some time, very short time, because I had some orders that I made and I delivered and spent some time with family and friends. And I was sort of tired, so I went home and went to sleep. So anyway, just happy about today's our guest. We had him on before, but we had to bring him in. We're gonna bring him in again. So make sure you tell friends, make sure you subscribe, share, and just tell friends and family about this because we're gonna have a great show, a mind-blowing, thought-provoking, and eye-opening experience. So tonight, a very special guest. His brother is we have this unfinished business that we got to talk about. So the brother is, I met him a long time ago in Charlotte, North Carolina at the mentoring program called Boys to Men Mentoring Program. Mentoring Foundation. It's a great organization. President Christopher Timothy Fowler, great brother, very powerful brother. We had him on before. He was interviewed by my mentor, Brother Wali. So tonight we're just going to go ahead and do the show because last time we only was able to record about 30 minutes of it, but we're going to conclude some of that today. So tell you a little bit about the brother. So the brother's a wedding officiant. He's a life coach, board member of the Boys and Men Foundation, a loan analysis for Wells Fargo, a basketball coach for the Rocky River High School, and mentee for from the 100 Black Men of Greater Charlotte, and a public speaker on social media platforms. So we're going to be having this brother. So this brother's a great brother. So what I'm going to do is stop talking. So I'm going to allow you to meet no other than Jeff Pitts Presents. Hey, what's going on, brother? Got a little tired tongue. I don't hear you. Make sure you check it. Yes, I think you got you on there. You on
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I hear you now.
There we go.
All right.
Yeah. How you doing? How you feeling, man? It's Wellness Check Wednesday.
Oh man, I'm feeling suave, credible. You know.
That's a blessing, man. Yeah, it's a blessed day to be alive.
Yes, it is. You know, we gotta thank God for seeing a day we never seen before. Another day to get it right. Another day to have appreciation. Another day to say, I love you, brother.
Yeah, I love you too. Love you as well, man. Yeah, definitely. Yes. We need that. We need more of that brotherly love.
Absolutely. So I know I just said a few things, but we're doing it again. You know, we got some unfinished business to take care of. So let's get on. So tell people a little about yourself outside of what I said, you know, because you know, you can always explain it a little better than me. Because I might have to read stuff off, but you know, for you can spit it out.
Yeah, well, I'm a wedding officiant. I love officiating weddings. I
Mm,
love seeing the union of two people coming together. Definitely on the board member for the Boys to Men Foundation with Mr. Timothy Fowler, where we're servicing over 500 kids throughout the Charlotte city and surrounding areas. Shout out to Rocky River Basketball High School. We're 3-0 right now. 3-0
okay.
right now. Starting the season off, going against some tough teams. Hey, I'm a father of three. Hey, hey, listen, when it comes to life coaching, I coach life because that's what we're doing right now, strictly living. So that's the blessed part about being a life coach. And I come from my background is from being a mentee from the 100 Black Men of Greater Charlotte. So my me having my mentor, Mr.
Hmm.
Christopher Reeve. He
Okay.
definitely has been my mentor throughout my since middle school all the way up to now. I should say I would say to college, but my mentor, we still have a good long relationship with each other from since I was a young lad in middle school.
Mm.
It's a beautiful thing to have a bond or a father figure in my life when I didn't have my father in my life. I didn't meet my dad till I was 21. So life is good, life is great, and it's a blessing to be able to rekindle relationships.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate that. You said something just that really stood out, and I just want to address before we go into our dialogue. Mentor. Here it is: a wedding officiant, a life coach, a business person, a basketball coach, a brother who's doing a lot of things. And ladies and gentlemen, he's talking about mentorship, having mentors. And I'm always talking, even when I came on, my mentor. I'm always talking about my mentor, having 8 mentors. And this is where I want to address before we go into it. There's so many people who are influencers, right? And want to be these titles. But it's funny how it was pretty evident they didn't have mentors in their lives, because if they did, I think they would learn how to speak to people, how to engage with people, how to respect people. Because normally when you have a mentor, those someone has a positive influence on you and teach you how to engage with others in a respectful manner. Because that's what mentors, they develop you. They don't just develop you professionally, but they develop you in terms of your character. And one of the things as again we're going to be talking about is that you know these people and they out on social media, and sometimes they just don't know how to talk to each other. And it's strange, and it's evident they don't have mentors. And I want to say this thing: one time one particular person told me nobody can mentor me except my mom. Now they sound so brilliant with that idea, but they don't realize how much a fool they sound. you know so and it's funny because if I'm not for sure, the book of Proverbs, the book of wisdom and understanding, talks about being a fool and all these things, and we all know a fool rejects wisdom. So if you out there listening to the show, you are a fool if you reject wisdom. When someone's trying to tell you something to change your life, when someone's trying to empower you and all you do is contradict them, it's safe to say you're a fool, because you refuse to take insight. You refuse to take wisdom, direction, instructions. You know, you have tit for tat for everything without really having anything concrete. It's not wisdom. So I just wanted to say that part, because when you said that mentors, they help us. They older, they have wisdom. Because remember, we're not talking about intellect, but wisdom, and that tends to give us an advantage and an edge over a lot of people who don't have it.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're only as good as our support system.
Exactly, exactly. And trust, we may be thinking that we may think that we're on this in this world by ourselves, but that's when we're in denial, because we're not. Our support system, as small as it may be that person on the side of the road who just said something to encourage you. And maybe that person that you may not know is praying for you. May it be that person who again was a mentor supporting you through the hard times. Someone was telling me today or something saying this person stopped them from killing their spouse. Right there, being a voice of reason, So we have to learn how important having mentors in our life. And I apologize. It's just that when you said it, it just came through my mind. And again, it's just something I wanted to address. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
and so here, you've been a boys to men mentor for about how long, brother? Tell us about that experience.
Well, I've been doing it for almost, I'll say about almost 4 years now. Coming up on my 4th year. Working with Stephen James and Mr. Timothy Fowler. Being able to be a great influence to over 500 young boys, not just in Charlotte, but surrounding areas. The testimonies that you hear from
Ooh.
these young men, how much impact you left on their life when they graduate. The ceremonies at the end of the year, there's never a dry eye in the building, because when you actually hear the testimonies from these young men of how we've influenced their lives from elementary to middle school to high school, and just to see them progress and grow, hey man, there's no price in the world, man, you can put a price on the fulfillment that you feel just to hear these young men talk about who they are and who's helped them along the way.
Absolutely. Want to give a special shout out to Mr. Christopher Fowler. There, I'm just going to use a definition. I mean, the first letter in the person's life. The young man is a Z. This brother had a lot of struggles, and the one person I know that never gave up on him was Mr. Fowler. And this young man had a lot of issues, But guess what? Mr. Fowler stood in the paint with this brother. This young man's a freshman in college. Can imagine I don't even think he can even believe that was possible. And I know his grandmother's so proud, but he made it, And when you think about mentoring programs, you have men like you who's giving back, and I definitely enjoy my time being a part of that organization. It was a wonderful experience. And make sure you tell Mr. Stephen James, I say what's going on.
Yes, sir.
Okay, make sure you tell him that. So again, being a mentor, and as you said, you are a life coach. What even made you want to be a life coach? How did that even come about?
It started by just me acknowledging my surroundings and people just leaning on me a lot when it comes to advice. As a youngin, not having my father, I've been put in a lot of different tight situations and experiences, and it has pushed me to be a quick thinker. Whereas we got to think fast before things go left, and just be a problem solver. So oftentimes, man, as I started getting older and younger people would come to me for advice, and I was like, man. And then somebody was like, man, have you ever thought about being a life coach? I'm like, no, never thought about being that. So then I met another person who was like, have you ever thought about being a life coach? I'm like, no, never thought about that. I just rather just help people along the way that need me. And they were like, no, you should consider that. That could be a great profession for you. So one lady asked me about being a life coach, and I looked into it, and I decided to become one, because just the fulfillment and the testimonies that I've gotten just from helping changing people's lives and helping people find direction in life, and just being able to be there for other people, man, is definitely fulfilling and makes your life worth waking up to every day, when you can put a positive influence on somebody else's life and their future going forward.
Yeah, that's and one thing about it, you got to stay motivated, and that's the thing, because if you can stay motivated, you can definitely help others be motivated. Because let me tell y'all, listen, I get a video from this brother every day, man. I'm talking about getting up and doing this thing. He like, this is scripture time, or he up there, doing it. I'm like, yo, what I'm saying? We need people like that. Hey, just remember this, because we're gonna go back on a particular thing we're going to be talking about. It's like, are you what you say you are? Are you your profession? Those type of things.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be, we're going to get into that, but I'm going to go on some of the things that I'm going to ask you personally, and then we're going to go on some other subject matter, giving back, staying motivated, and deal with some of current events that's going on. So we have a brother, Frederick Jones. He says, what's the difference between a mentor and a life coach? Would you like to answer, or you want?
I can.
Go ahead.
I would say more from a mentor standpoint is someone that can be a positive influence from more or less, I say, like from a child to a man or a father or some type of figure that can help you along the way as you're still developing in your youth. More of a life coach is somebody that really the difference from it is it's more than just life, but it's health, spiritual, and it's to the level of your maturity as well. It could be about work or career wise. So it's really contingent upon age. But when I look at it from a as being a mentee, I just needed somebody that had a physical presence, somebody who showed that they love me, care about me. My mentee was the type of person that would come to all my games and make sure I stay out the top of Milton Road. A lot of areas in my neighborhood that wasn't really safe. He was like, hey, he would come, hey, come get in the car. You come here, come get in the car. He would come pick me up, make me get in the car when he see me in certain crowds. Mentee is definitely like a shepherd. I would say more or less a shepherd. When I'm going left, he steers me back right.
Yes, sir.
But life coaching, man, is I think it's to a higher level. When you're to a level of maturity, also to just whatever you're trying to do in life, as far as health, spiritual, career. It's many aspects, but this is for somebody that can definitely be with you towards life in a healthy way.
Absolutely. So thanks a lot, Fred. I appreciate those questions. If anybody have any questions, feel free to give us some comments in the chat. We always appreciate that. We love the feedback, we love the participation, and we love your support. Make sure you share with your friends and tell them about what we talking about tonight. And we're doing this live on Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave. Listen, so again, being a life coach, man, and you hold and you wear so many hats. So what's up with this wedding officiant? Because as I shared with you one time, I'm always gonna do my free plugs, and I just wonder, oh goodness, this book that popped up, this probably gonna be something when it comes to wedding officiating and having some people discuss that book prior to. But anyway, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take up some of your space and time, but you just go ahead and tell them about what made you decide to want to be a wedding officiant. I know you always want to give back to people. Go ahead and share your book.
Coming from a Black culture and me growing up without my father, I saw the importance of just helping people along the way when it comes to stability in a bond and relationship. My mom did a great job of raising me by herself, but I also saw the struggles that I could have benefited from if my father was there, or even if there was a healthier relationship put in place. From a wedding standpoint, I just love seeing people figuring it out. No relationship is perfect, but I believe in having a true support system around your love is what makes it sustainable, stable, and I believe my method and philosophy when it comes to love is don't change you, change the who. For a lot of times, we have the right love for the wrong people.
Absolutely. It's funny because, and again, a lot of these things people don't want to admit, but the whole world's watching. Like people say, nobody making this up. Good girls, too bad guys. These are choices.
Yeah.
And the issue is not taking ownership of it.
Yeah.
Nobody's making this stuff up. But again, I love that because it's just this. Somehow, it's too many people speaking for us as Black men, saying what we don't want, how we act, and what we don't care about. And I think sometimes the lines about these individuals who like to manipulate systems and individuals, these are not men they're dealing with. They're dealing with grown boys and adult males, because so many of us men have so many stories and testimonies when you are a great father, want to take care, want to spend time, want to do right, is always something interfering with that process. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
You know? It ain't no coincidence. And then the sad thing is, when we say it, is always a knee-jerk reaction. That's not true. Like, wow, you telling us our reality, not our perception, but our real personal and professional experiences. And it's so typical. I mean, have you heard it? I heard it countless times. It's not true. Wow. That's incredible. So, man, that has to be a very rewarding life to be able to coach, life coach, mentor people, and do these weddings and getting people to come together in holy matrimony. So, your experience, how was like being part of Boys to Men? And I know you mentioned it earlier. Tell us a little bit about when you have mentors that you're working around. Tell me about the group of men that how you see that they have these positions, but they still taking time to give back to these young men. Tell us a little bit about great.
Shout out to Keith West.
Yes.
Brother Keith.
I still want to see him smile. I haven't seen him laugh yet.
Brother Keith, man.
Yes. Yes.
I've got the day one watching Brother Keith,
yes.
Man, like he's definitely influential.
Yes.
He has a passion for his group, his group of boys that he gets. I think is on Mondays.
Yeah, Mondays.
Man, like jumping in on his Zoom calls. He takes his boys on bike trails.
Bike trips.
Oh man, like it's just so many things, man. Like just the devotion, man, to take time outside of your personal life from his family and to pour into his group, man.
Ooh,
it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal, man. You look at it like it's so selfless. It's so selfless, man, because we all have different obligations. We all have problems and struggles of various kinds. Life just be lifing sometimes. But man, he has a passion and a gift, man, where he connects with those boys, man. And that's really something, man. I've been on many Zoom calls and I've got to see Keith work when it comes to these young men. And these young men really love and take the Keith. And that's because, man, he genuinely love what he do. And it might seem like, well, some people might say, well, yeah, he just spent like an hour or two with them, man. But to them boys, those 2 hours mean everything. They mean everything.
Yeah. In addition to, he exposes them. And the brother loves to read.
Yeah.
He loves to read. I'm gonna ask him one day how many books you read in a week, because he loves to read. But that reading is life changing. Reading used to be, before we had the internet and social media, a person can read something and use their imagination what it's like to be on another side of the world or a different culture or a different experience by reading. And he's definitely exposes his kids. So, man, so I thank you for that, because again, he will be one of those great unsung heroes that our country may not even know about. Y'all don't understand. This is a great man. I'm talking about, reason I ask certain questions because there be people out there that you guys may not know, but man, this man is brilliant with all capital letters, And so, it's sometimes, man, that's why I tell people, man, just sometimes get out of your comfort zone, do some volunteer work, and be able to connect with a whole bunch of people outside of what you're used to. But you never know who you'll meet by being connected with these brothers. So again, as we talked about your routine, I love your motivation that you give every day, the videos and everything, and I love it. So yeah, I'm gonna do it. Forget it. I'm putting you on the spot. So can you get, what's today? Wednesday? Let me see. Yeah, can you do that one today for us? You remember it or no?
The one for I can give you one just off the cuff.
Okay, we give it off the cuff then. You didn't say nothing.
Well, like I always say, it's Wellness Check Wednesday. Check up on you. Then go check up on your people. For you can't do nothing for nobody else until you first master, conquer, and doing it for yourself first. And they say Wellness Check Wednesday, but they also call it Hump Day. And Hump Day in Wisdom was designed for you to take Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, the lessons of those days, the experience of those days, apply it to your Wednesday so you can enjoy your Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. This makes a complete full week of a healthy week. And if you can do it for a week, you can do it for a month. You do it for a month, you can do it for a year. You do it for a year, you can turn this into a lifestyle. And this is your Wellness Check Wednesday, baby. Yeah.
Right. I'm telling you, man. Hey, y'all don't even know. I get this daily. You know what I'm saying? So y'all looking at that J Pitts Presents, you make sure you follow, because I'm telling you, you will love it. I'm telling you, it inspires me every day. And this is what I tell people, man. I'm not just going to sit there because I don't need validation or approval to celebrate me, but I am greatness. I am powerful. I've done some incredible things. I've life coached, freaking law enforcement, teaching, so many incredible things, professional sports, college, all those things. But guess what? I'm always looking for motivation. I just bought me a new book the other day. And I listened to this brother. There's so many people because just recently, and just sharing this, I just went and got a transformational coach, and the brother was telling me certain things. I mean, he was dissecting me. You hear me? Dissecting me. I'm talking about dissecting me, telling me everything. I'm talking about you're talking about shape, you're talking about motivation, you're talking about inspiration, you're talking about discipline, you're talking about eating, you're talking about interaction, we're talking about communication, we're talking about agility, we're talking about body fat, we're talking about spirituality, development, cardio, strength, everything. Over 55 years of being on this planet, and as much as I have accomplished, brother gave me a reality check. I've been performing at 54% of my capacity. So that says a lot about me accomplishing a lot of things. That means I can do better. If I can do better, accomplishing all the things, you can do better and the next person. So we can always, that's why I say you're never too old to learn. So that's why I'm constantly trying my best to learn, because there's so much more we can push ourselves. And an example of, you remember how back in the days when Michael Jordan was in the league? So majority of his career, he went to the championship or to the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
So, and then not just that, we're talking about practicing. And we know basketball plays so many games a week, right?
Yeah.
But think about it. Commercials, endorsements, TV interviews, radio interviews, magazine interviews, internet interviews. Trying to save enough money because he had a dream for Jumpman. It was so many things and he still did it. Oh, I'm sorry, golf. I'm sorry, gambling. I'm sorry, children, extracurricular activities, travel. What's the other person name? Steve Harvey. Morning show 5 days a week, doing 3 or 4 game shows, books, travel, commercials, interviews. So when we sit there and think about it, man, we have to learn to push ourselves. And there's so much we can do better. Beyonce, look at that. She's still in shape. So that means these people are really pushing themselves, you know? And so when I went to that transformational coach, he was just telling me so much. And I'm like, but I became a doctor. I was a combat veteran. I was a national champion. I was a professional wrestler. He said, you still can push yourself more. 54%. I'm like, whoa. So just imagine how far you can push yourself and all the things you do. Yeah, man.
Definitely.
Yes, man. So I mentioned the last book. I bought one the other day. I can't even remember it. It was by Dr. Phil. And it was something about living your life to your full capacity. It's just I just only read about 4 or 5 pages. I just got it. And but again, I love reading because of just so many different stories and things that can inspire me to become a better person. You understand? And I have yet to live my best life because I'm only 55 and I don't know what that looks like. You understand? Because
Yeah.
there's so many things, there's so many things I want to do and will do. So I can't sit there and I'm not satisfied to sit there and say I'll live my best life because I don't think I've reached it yet. You know. So what was the last book that you can remember reading?
Mine was the World's Greatest Salesman by Og
Okay.
Mandino.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about that.
It talks about the story of Jesus Christ, how he started his journey, but
Mm-hmm.
also too, the book starts off as stories of Jesus' journey, but
Okay.
at the end of the book they have like 13 scrolls of wisdom,
Oh
and
wow.
they're powerful. And I can tell you one of the scrolls. I think it's scroll number 3. It says when you don't know your worth, the world will offer you anything.
Yeah.
But one who does know their worth, the world will accept your evaluation.
Mm. Yeah. And that's why it's unfortunate so many people don't know and they think when you give a high price on something, you just overdoing it. But that means you know your worth. And in a society where it has gotten wickeder and they seem to think they can manipulate you and have you devalue your worth and your value so they can benefit, and other than thinking about they're paying for a valuable service or a valuable product and should have a level of appreciation for that, you know.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Absolutely, man. So listen, right now we're just gonna go because we're at that halfway point. So we're just going to go into station identification and we'll be right back with social therapy with Dr. Brother Suave.
Tune in and stream live now. Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave, the podcast, is now being broadcast on NPN Voice. NPN Voice can be found on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, SoundCloud, and now on Audible and Amazon Music, and anywhere you listen to your favorite podcast. Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave, the podcast, now on NPN Voice. NPN Voice, got voice, you heard?
And we're back with social therapy with Dr. Brother Suave and a very special guest, J Pitts Presents. Yes, we were just for the first half, we were just talking a little about his career and mentoring as a life coach and some of the journey he has and his perspectives and pleasures that he has had as a professional in terms of giving back. And so we're going to be following up on the second half of social therapy with Dr. Brother Suave. I'm talking about giving back. As I see giving back as something that when you are blessed to have certain things, it's important that you do give back. And it's this book I always love. I had it for about 10 years. It's called The Go-Giver. The Go-Giver. It's a great read. And it talks about giving. You know, so many people who are not givers are always reaping the benefits of other people's hard work and giving back. And so, of course, the world, the strong gives to the weak. We know that. We take care of them. However, they're not always that weak that they can't give back. And one of the things that always bothered me was people who say, well, I'm struggling, I'm on welfare. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you're struggling on welfare, but you're getting housing, you're getting food, you're getting shelter. And a lot of people don't have as much as you do, and they have to work jobs that paying them $3 an hour or whatever. And sometimes, so if you have that time where you don't have to work, I think you should give back. I think because you giving back can actually help our economy and show a level of appreciation, since you didn't necessarily have the resources to get yourself housing, shelter, and food. Is you should at least give back in time. Like, for example, a school crossing guard. They only have to do 2 shifts before and after school.
Yeah.
So if you're unemployed and you're getting government assistance, I think you can volunteer and do some things, chaperone, do certain things, because it's giving back, and it definitely will lighten the load for millions. It's just like our penal system. They do certain things and save us billions. Same thing, people receiving benefits can give back. That's just my take on it. But I just believe that if you're receiving, you should be able to give back in some form or fashion.
That's true.
And so on this second half, we're going to be just talking about a few things I just want to get your perspective on. There are just some of the things that I wrote down is like taboo issues, and says why certain issues are addressed, why does it seem to be an attack? And the topic, the issue is like the taboo issues, in my opinion. If you happen in today's society, we seem to have a problem with freedom of speech. I'm not talking about bashing. I'm not talking about harassing. We're not talking about stalking. We're just talking about addressing behaviors. And then what happens is behaviors seems people are not acknowledging those behaviors. And when a behavior is addressed, it seems like you don't like that particular gender. So let's say you see somebody doing something, you say, this is inappropriate, or this is toxic, or this is just out of line, and you're addressing it, but you don't like men, you don't like women. It seems to be an issue. And it's like when I used to tell people, I'm like, okay, I see something in Jay Pitts and I want to address it. It don't mean I hate Jay Pitts, but I can tell you this: I got a problem with that action, that behavior. You know what I'm saying? So if you're around here doing something that I think is disrespectful, misrepresenting you as a black man, or misrepresenting your family, I'm saying, hey, yo, Jay, I think you need to check yourself. And then you say, well, you got a problem with me? Not you as a person, just with those behaviors. Just like God, he loves us all, but he hates that sin that we're engaging in. And I think people are so in denial about the way they respond to somebody trying to address those particular issues. Your take on it?
Yeah, it's just a level of a maturity when you can just, when you see constructive criticism as something positive instead of something negative. Somebody taking the time outside of you or outside of their busy life to point out or assist you with something you doing wrong, or if you're heading in the wrong direction. So when it comes down to just, you could tell a lot of people's maturity when you giving them insight about something wrong in their personal life, and they take it as an attack, or they're very defensive. Because I mean, people could just do whatever they want to do and just go about their business, but they're taking time out their day to say, hey, you might not want to do this, or maybe you shouldn't do that, or have you ever thought about it this way? Just being open-minded and not being quick to go to your emo instead of your logical, really shows your growth and maturity, and actually that you really want to better yourself as an individual.
Yeah, but the unfortunate thing, and I tell you one thing about statistics, and numbers, they don't lie, and it's just it's a group of human beings seem to consistently react in attack mode. You know, you say it. So is it safe to say that group is immature, or it's just unfortunate? It's just emotion. Remember, emotion,
Yeah.
because we see it all the time. You can't have a decent dialogue by addressing behaviors without going straight to attack mode.
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible. It's just we just addressing the issues because we should be able to have a conversation without always an attack. And again, we're not making this stuff up. It can go from here to here just that quick, and you're addressing the issue that you are witnessing. You're witnessing. You're not making it up. And it's always this attack. And I just wonder, when are we collectively going to get to a point that we can understand correction is not always criticism?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, as people always say, you criticize everything. No, I'm correcting this. You know, it's like you mentioned the word mature or immature. You have a child, right? And here's the situation. So a child is, because it's your responsibility as God ordained us to be the head of the household and head of our community as man. This is what we was ordained. I'm not sitting there saying how it is, but this is how we were designed. So, and whatever reason the ball has been dropped, or it could be some social engineering in our community. But the bottom line is, you have a child and they're washing the dishes. And so you said, well, once you finish the dishes, you just go ahead and go outside and play. So let me know when you finish. So when you go out there, the child say, I'm finished, I'm finished, I'm finished. You said, okay, before you go, slow down, slow down. Let me look. This is some mustard on the plate, okay? Hold on. Oh, son, this is all in, soap is all in the glass. It's some grease still on the pot. Here's a reaction. Man, you always complaining. You always criticizing. I can't do nothing right. Slow down. Am I imagining this mustard on the plate?
No.
And am I just seeing suds all still in the glass? Did I just put grease inside this pan? So your perception of correcting is criticism. And so again, the biggest struggle is to take ownership. And I see that to be plaguing our community. You understand?
Yeah.
Plaguing our community in a particular group in our, coaches and subcultures. And I just see this happening all the time. We can't have dialogue without it being confrontational or toxic. It says, question, as a life coach, and this is probably be directed to you, me as well. It says, what advice would you give to a businessman who's experiencing daily attacks on the job, mentally and spiritually? Would you like to answer the question? Because you are the guest.
Ooh. He said on the job. Experiencing daily attacks on the job. Man, that's a good question. He said mentally and spiritually.
Yes.
See, when you start hitting the mental, the mind, and your spirit, then you got to start questioning whether or not you can further your career in another area or change up certain areas as far as because sometimes I used to tell my mom used to always come to me with certain things about certain people, and I should be like, well, Ma, if you're praying for this person to change and they ain't change it, maybe God ain't trying to change them. Maybe God is trying to change you. So a lot of times, man, we can be quick to change the scenery, or we can say leave the job. But then sometimes this can be a position where you can endure and actually find some growth within yourself. Because it's easy to run from a situation. It's easy to change your job. But then what if you leave that job and then you go into somewhere else and it could be worse?
Mm-hmm.
So from a mental and spiritual standpoint, I would say you need to find have somebody, a support system that can coach you through the way as far as your day-to-days. I would also say find like a hobby outside to give you balance, whether it's working out, whether it's reading, whether it's, taking walks, because you got to make your money. You got to be able to pay your bills. Man, jobs out here there's a lot of availability of certain jobs, but if you really like where you at, I would try to find a different way to respond and react to where you are that's going negative. That's just my intake on it. If you really like your job, otherwise, if it's too much for the mental and the spirit, I would say change either the department or change your job, or change maybe your career. But for the most point, you only get one life to live, man. Certainly entertaining a lot of negativity can't be healthy for you.
Okay, I'm reading this, Jeff. I'm reading this because of how I dissect everything, and I'm reading this, so I need clarity because the way you responded as though this is a job, but I see businessman who's experiencing. So, Frederick, if you're watching, are you a owner of a business? Or because you were responding as a job, and sometimes when you're an owner of a business, you just can't leave. So I'm wondering, so I dissect things. So can you bring a little clarity on when you say give advice to a businessman? If you're hearing, because I know sometimes as a business person myself, you can't run away. You can't change job. You are your job.
Yeah.
And
True.
so, and sometimes it could be a struggle mentally and spiritually because, I always say when your spiritual life, your relationship is not, if your relationship stuff is a mess, it affects you spiritually and it affects you mentally. So we want to know what type of things, are you a business owner or you have a job? Because I think that makes a difference. And then that's when you start to really have to evaluate your objectives, people who support you, people who you're working with, who you partner with, who you're doing business with. Those things are very, very important. So I don't mean to do anything to contradict you. It's just the way I dissect things, because sometimes we naturally assume that people have jobs and sometimes people don't. So I just want to know, hopefully Fred can let me know if he's a business owner or does he have a job, because again, changing the scenery could be an option, when you have a job. But also when you are owner and you have invested a lot of money and going through those peaks and valleys of business, it could be real challenging. And so I like when you were saying, having a support system. Sometimes you may have to count your losses and get rid of some of the people who having you to feel emotionally drained on a daily basis, because that's counterproductive. Because okay, see right there.
Yeah.
See, I'm sorry, I don't mean, but I dissect things, and this is where I say make myself great in what I do, because stuff that I see. So you're a part owner, see right there. So that means a high probability that he has invested a lot of chips, and he may not have remember I talked about equally yoked in relationships. Equally yoked, one person may be a bad business partner, and sometimes those things become an issue. And that's why I say sometimes you may have to cut your loss and seek out. You know how, like, when you have a job and you don't want to be in that job any longer, in your free time, you're on that phone trying to seek other ways to substitute that other job. So you can get this job. So here, you may have to try to find somebody who's on board and start anew. I mean, and we have had many icons in the music industry. Like Q was one of the first ones. So like, you know what? Forget it. Keep all that. I'm gone. Became brilliant. You have another person, Dr. Dre. You know what? I'm sure. Keep all that. I'll make something else. Me, relationships, marriage. Like, you know what? Bye. I'm still gonna be great. So you take your L's and keep moving. So thank you for the question, and thank you for your response, JPS. And another part I wanted to address, and this is the thing. The question, the topic I want to say: are you reflecting your profession? Is it for the money or is it for the passion?
Well, I'm a very passionate guy. I love what I do. So the money was gonna come anyway. That's like the icing on the cake, but I'm more about the
Yes.
bread, the foundation part.
Mhm.
Whereas when you're actually making a difference. When you got passion in what you do, it's more fulfilling.
Yes.
It's like I can't put a word for it, but it's a fulfilling moment, man. When you
Yes.
making a difference in somebody's life, man, that feeling is good enough to sell. If I can bottle up that energy
Yes. It's
and
a
put it
high.
in aisle 7 at Walmart, it will sell out. It will
Yes.
sell out.
Yeah. You know, the funny thing is, man, when you have a profession that's so rewarding and you're happy,
Mm,
nothing. Remember how they would say, I need somebody to make me happy. Nobody can make you happy. You have to make yourself happy.
yeah.
So let's say you're not making all the money you want, but true happiness is authentic. So
Mm,
guess what? When you're so happy, the way people perceive happiness is so distorted. Watch this. The person's only making 40,000 a year. They got their one bedroom apartment and not filled with a lot of monetary things, just not a lot of material things. They are happy every day because they go on to that job or that career, putting in their hours, getting their money, and keeping that roof over their head, keeping food in their stomach, being able to drive from A to B. And that's what's important to them. And every day they feeling rewarded because they doing what they want to do. Not what you
mm,
want to do, not what you expect them to do, what they want to do. And they got a smile with a twist on the end every day of their life. You understand?
yeah.
They are they are a high every day. And you there, they happy because you don't understand what brings them happiness. And a person could be making a stack a day and just example. I'm going to share this. I was in my law enforcement career. I hated it.
Mm,
People are like, oh, we make money overtime and all this. But guess what? It was an environment that was toxic. People
mm,
facing life prison, people getting killed. How you gonna be happy about going to work like that every day?
mm,
And people and it's all motivated by money.
mm,
How could you be working as a like a overseeing? Think about it. Remember the person used to be on a truck. I mean, the horse and overseeing slaves.
yeah.
How can you be happy about that job, regardless of what it pays? See what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
people don't realize that. You understand? How can you be out there giving felonies to people and lying about it,
Mm,
not providing justice and being out there to protect and serve, but out there beating, gang, doing violent stuff. See, being happy about that crazy stuff. These are things that that's to me, it's just insane. But again, what I'm saying, are you reflecting your profession? Is it money or is it passion? So here's the thing. I think words and actions should match. So if you're a barber, you should keep a fresh cut. If you're in a medical profession, you should have good health and be in weight. You ever see people working at the gym? You're like, are they there for the money or are they there to really benefit fitness, personal fitness?
yeah.
You know, these are some things, and so I just think that if you in a profession, you need to be, like life coaches. I look at you every day, giving motivation. staying in shape, being spiritual, being balanced, motivating, inspiring, coaching, developing, mentor, all those things reflective. Somebody say, okay, yeah, you see, I keep myself in shape. And it's always the people. That's why I know people are sometimes fair weather and they're in a profession because they're trying to find themselves and trying to find something to make them some money. Because I'm like, I just don't think a life coach is just there just to give information. I think they need to present well. I think they need to be in shape. I didn't say body Adonis. I didn't say that. I'm just saying like have some type of be in some type of shape. And I don't expect everybody to agree. They can get upset, attack. I am not attacking anyone. I'm just saying I believe in balance. You know, I think if you're going to be doing hair, I think your hair need to be tight. Just my opinion. I think you're going to be talking about personal wellness. I think you should have, you can't help your DNA. You may have something, but you still could be into staying in shape and being reasonable. You understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
I just think that so many people are getting into professions and because they're like, oh wow, this is trendy. And that's one thing about me. I've always been like sometimes a gatekeeper because I see so many people, they're not interested in even in therapy or becoming a therapist unless they went through something traumatic. And I'm not knocking people. I think one of the things I like when you say I profit through my pain, but that's integrity. These people are not doing anything to work on their personal growth development. They just have their crisis. Let me go get educated. Anybody can pass a test. Where's your ethics? Where do you? And this is why we have so much counter transference going on in therapy because they never got healing themselves, but they go in and try to heal. So what they do is somebody say something to trigger their trauma. Next thing you know, and then the person who come there to get treatment end up trying to console that person. Completely unethical.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you really hit the nail on the head.
So I think it's important that we have we reflect our profession. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm happy that we was able to talk tonight. I probably did a little more talking than I should have, man. But I was excited. I voted today and everything. This got me a little motivated. So before we go, tell the people a little bit how they can contact you and how they can get a chance to hear your daily motivations.
Well, J Pitts presents on all platforms, all social media platforms. I'm on day 557. And I do my morning motivations in the morning. I might go live on Tuesday and Thursday, tell like it is Tuesdays and Hot Topic Thursdays. But for the most part, you won't be able to go on my page without getting something where you learn something or get encouraged about something. Because I'm all about uplifting people. Because I truly believe, man, you only got one life to live. Don't waste your time and make today count with large amounts.
Absolutely. And so, what's the social media pages?
At J Pitts Presents.
Okay, and that's on all of them.
Oh, that's TikTok. That's Instagram, that's Facebook, even YouTube and Snapchat. You can catch some positivity on any one of those platforms.
Absolutely, man. Don't forget me in the morning.
Yes, sir. I got you, man. Class is definitely in session.
So listen, man, ladies and gentlemen, man, this has been another episode of Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave, our very special guest, J Pitts Presents. I am so excited. And again, this is another episode. And just remember, great minds reach great places. I love you. I mean it. Bye-bye.
Tune in and stream live now. Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave, the podcast, is now being broadcast on NPN Voice. NPN Voice can be found on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, SoundCloud, and now on Audible and Amazon Music, and anywhere you listen to your favorite podcast. Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave, the podcast, now on NPN Voice. NPN Voice, got voice. You heard?
What's up, everyone? I'm Brandy the Disconnector, wife, show host, entrepreneur, investor, and ICS certified life coach, here to tell you that I'm on NPN TV, the network that is by us and for us. Lock in and let's get it.
Programs like this are made possible by Neighborhood Planet Broadcasting Systems, Neighborhood Planet Network, iBlisters Digital Media Creative, and from contributions to NPN TV from viewers